Greetings hunters! In this video, I'll discuss about the hunting horn song mechanics, durations, and their corresponding effects on a hunter. This video is more for advanced hunting horn users and is not meant to be a basic tutorial for beginners. If you're looking for a good video on the basics of hunting horn, I would highly suggest checking out Arreksz's hunting horn guide, which covers everything you need to know to get started with the weapon. Alright then, I think we're all familiar with the hunting horn in that it could do a recital for up to 3 songs and then immediately follow it up with an encore to improve on the currently applied songs. For the moment though, I'd like everyone to focus on 2 main things: the initial song effect and the extended song effect. Take note that the recital is not always the initial effect, and that the encore is not always the extended effect as well. Let me show you an example. Let's take a look at the Attack Up Large song. With Horn Maestro level 2, the initial effect lasts 150 seconds, and the extended effect adds 90 seconds to that for a total of 240 seconds, which is around 4 minutes of uptime. Also, do note that the initial effect gives you Attack Up Large, while the extended effect gives you Attack Up Extra Large. Attack Up Large, of course, gives you 15% more damage, and Attack Up Extra Large gives you 20% more damage. Before we check out the next clip, try to remember that the initial effect gives 150 seconds and the extended effect gives 90 seconds. Did you catch that? I was not in range of the recital, so I didn't get any initial buffs on Gupo's first song. However, I got in range for the encore instead, and only then did I receive the initial buffs from the song. You can tell that this is the initial buff because the duration is 150 seconds and the initial effect is only Attack Up Large, not Extra Large. So what does all of this mean exactly? It simply means that on the very first time that your hunter receives a buff, it will always count as an initial buff, regardless if it's from a recital or an encore. Any other buffs received after that will be treated as extension effects, also regardless if it's from a recital or from an encore. In even simpler terms, you don't need to always start a recital to give an initial buff, and you don't need to do an encore to extend a song. Say, for example, your Attack Up buff expired during a hunt. Normally you'd do a recital followed by an encore to reapply the Attack Up buff. The main problem is in most hunts, and especially in solo hunts, you normally won't be able to complete a full recital to encore combo unless the monster is knocked down or is incapacitated. So, as an alternative to an encore, you can instead store 2 Attack Up songs and do either of the following. You can either do 2 recitals in 2 separate occasions, or you can do 1 long recital to apply both Attack Up songs in one go. Now let's talk about Horn Maestro. Horn Maestro increases the duration of all of your songs relative to the type of buff being given. The main thing to take away from this is that you always want Horn Maestro level 2 in all of your hunting horn builds. No exceptions. Okay, so now I'd like to address a very common question from hunting horn users. In a multiplayer setting, how does Horn Maestro work among multiple hunting horn users? Here, I applied the Attack Up Large buff on myself, both for the initial and extended effects. As you can see, total duration is around 120 seconds, meaning I have no Horn Maestro skill equipped. Now watch what happens when Shiro, who has Horn Maestro level 1, also does an attack up large buff. What happened here is that both Shiro's Recital and Encore gave my already existing attack up large buff an extended effect. And take note that my attack up large maximum duration is now 180 seconds, even if I don't have Horn Maestro level 1 equipped. This simply means that whichever player has the highest level of Horn Maestro will override any lower level existing buffs currently applied on all the players. This effect also applies to the All Melody Effects Extended song. In the next example, Gupo will perform a melody extend while he has Horn Maestro level 2. Try to guess what happens next. If your guess was that the attack up large buff would get extended to 240 seconds, then congratulations, you now fully understand how Horn Maestro works. So, going back to my Hunter, what happens then if I try to do the extend melody song when I have no Horn Maestro skills equipped? As I've mentioned earlier, the higher level Horn Maestro effect will override everything else. Since I have no Horn Maestro equipped, my attack up large song can only increase my duration to 120 seconds maximum. If the current buff duration is more than that, then my songs will virtually have no effect upon playing them. And before I forget, I'd like to throw out a special shout out to all the helpful hunters over at the MHW Speedrunning and Exploits Discord. They have tons of useful resources, one of which was the original datasheet for all the hunting horn song information, which was created by DeathCream. Thank you very much. Next up, let's take a look at bubble effects. New to Iceborne are bubble effects. These are buffs that are activated when you or any of your teammates physically touch the glowing bubbles left by your hunting horn. Just like that of any other song buff, the duration of bubble effects are also improved by Horn Maestro. However, unlike other buffs, a player can refresh the duration of a bubble effect simply by touching the glowing bubbles. No recitals or encores involved. Depending on the type of buff, the bubbles left on the ground lasts for a specific period of time, and every time the bubbles are used, the time period decreases. Think of it as something similar to the temporal mantle. To illustrate, let's take a look at the extended health recovery bubble song. The ground duration and number of uses are all different for each different type of bubble effect. These are all included in the data table linked in the description, so feel free to check these out. And finally, we'll cover on the Impact Echo Wave and the Dragon Echo Wave. Both of these are unaffected by affinity nor by your weapon sharpness. This means they have zero chance of inflicting critical damage, and they don't have any damage modifiers based on your weapon's sharpness. Also, a very frequently asked question is whether or not the Echo Wave combo would deal more damage than a standard Echo Spin Attack combo. So let's go ahead and take a look. So in almost all cases, Dragon and Impact Echo Waves do more damage than spin attack combos. So then this must mean that we should always use Echo Waves over spin attacks, right? Well, it really depends on the situation. To help show why, let's take a look at the advantages and disadvantages of each combo. As seen in the previous clips, the spin combo does less damage than Echo Wave combos. However, spin combos can be done anytime, while Echo Wave combos require you to store Echo Wave songs first. Spin combos are stationary and are much easier to target the monster with. Echo Wave combos tend to be quite all over the place because of the nature of recitals and encores. Spin combos don't require a lot of move commitment, as the animation is quite fast. When doing Echo Wave combos, you are stuck doing the recital and encore animations. Spin combos can be done indefinitely, while Echo Wave combos can only be done for a maximum of 3 stored songs. Furthermore, spin combos can be followed up with any move anytime, while Echo Wave combos can only be followed up with a roll cancel at the very end. Spin combos use up a lot of sharpness if you're not using Master's Touch. Echo Wave combos are much more generous with sharpness use. Spin combos synergize very well with elemental and status effect builds, because there are more instances of attacks done compared to Echo Wave combos. When deciding which combo to use, it is quite important to take note of all of these factors. And that's pretty much it for Hunting Horn song mechanics, effects, and durations. Again, kindly check the link in the description below to view the data table for all Hunting Horn song information. Thank you very much for watching and happy hunting!